Welcome, everyone. We are starting a brand new series on this channel. This is going to be based on Draft Day Sports College Football 2025. There really aren't a lot of college playthroughs. I haven't seen too many, except for the ones that come from the developers, and they're usually just a couple of videos. So I wanted to do a playthrough here. If you're coming from my Vikings playthrough, welcome. If you're new to the channel, welcome too. Please like and subscribe and all that nice stuff. So this is just going to be an introductory video. We'll get into the actual play in episode 1. I just want to show you some things that I've done and how we've set this thing up. So a couple of changes I'd like to make from my previous series, other than the fact that this is college and that was pro. I thought our turnaround with the Vikings was just a little bit too easy. So I did some things to kind of make this maybe a little bit harder. We'll see how things go. So we're going to be taking over the Colorado State Rams. And I wanted to pick a team that's near the bottom of the Mountain West, or I should say what used to be the Mountain West Conference. Let me just show you the conference structure, because I played around. I didn't want to have a Pac-2, and you'll already notice there's a strange icon in the top right of the screen. I'll get to that in a moment. Let's look at the new conferences. Okay, so Atlantic Coast, I don't think I made too many changes there. We put in UMass because I don't remember all the changes. I think, well, let me just start with our conference. It's the Northwest Conference, and we made this out of, I basically took some teams from the old Pac-12 plus the Mountain West, and I even took BYU and Colorado from the Big 12. So you have all the Utah teams together, you have the Colorado teams together. These standings don't make a whole lot of sense because they're mixed up with a lot of conferences. You see 0 conference games, 5, 3, that'll settle out once we get into the season. So this is what used to be the Mountain West. What became of the Pac-12? Well, I wasn't going to leave it as the Pac-2. I didn't want to do that. So we made this we made a few changes. Okay, so we made this the Southwest Conference. And that also got, Atlantic Coast. Southwest Conference made a new logo for that as well. You can kind of see here. Maybe it's not quite so easy to see here, but basically, I reconstituted the southern part of the Pac-12, and we brought in some teams from the southern part of the Mountain West. We brought Cal and Stanford back from wherever they were, and USC and UCLA back from wherever they were. I think a couple of those were in the Atlantic Coast Conference. And you see the Atlantic Coast, I believe it was 16. We're back down to, we're still at 16. I think, I don't remember all the changes, like I said. I put UMass from independent into ACC. We took out, Cal and Stanford in the Atlantic Coast. Sorry, that's not going to happen here. Not on this channel. And we wanted to get the band back together in terms of the Northwest teams. The Big 10 is now the Big 14. There's truth in advertising here. I don't think there were a lot of changes made here. I think, as a matter of fact, I'm just looking at it real quick here. I think it's mostly untouched. We put Temple in here, and I don't remember who was in this position. Well, we took a few teams, because the real Big 10 went to 16. It's ridiculous. I could actually remember a time when the Big 10 had 10 teams and the Big 12 had 12 teams. It was a long time ago. It's escaping me what team we moved out of here. But it was probably an Eastern team. I'm not going to worry about that right now. I'll figure it out. The former Big 12, I couldn't make the Big 12 12 teams, so we renamed that the Heartland Conference. And so now we have, maybe it was Iowa. That's what we moved out. I don't remember why I moved. I guess I did it so Iowa and Iowa State could be together. Kansas State, Oklahoma State. I didn't put Oklahoma in here. Maybe that's a miss on my part, but I didn't, I just missed that one. FBS Independence is down to, so I wanted to replace UMass, so I put University of New Hampshire. I was going to create some other FCS schools. I wanted to play as Montana State, then I realized I'm playing as them in another league already, so that wouldn't work out so well. So we scratched that idea. I'm going to play as, let's go back to the Northwest. I'm going to play as Colorado State. It's a team that's near the bottom of the conference. If we go to the media and we go to the power rankings, you know what? I don't even know where. No, I'm not going to search for the power rankings right now. The top ELO teams are 16, 17. That, 0, that's probably New Hampshire. And so Colorado State is near the bottom in average overall, in prestige. Particularly, we chose a team to make this challenging. I just realized I started the recording again, and I started talking again. I didn't start the recording again. I don't remember quite where I left off, so forgiveness if I'm repeating some things. I just want to show the settings, because I don't think I showed you that. What are we doing in terms of league configuration? We turned on hard mode. I think we're probably going to increase the conference prestige a little bit, because in fairness, we have some Pac-12 teams in here, so maybe we'll put it. I don't know what the Pac-12. Well, the Pac-12 is now the Southwest, so maybe we'll pick a prestige it's halfway between those two, or maybe a third of the way between those two. But I wanted to make this challenging somewhat. I don't know what hard mode is. I don't know if we're going to keep this on. I mean, hard mode is a little vague, but that is what it is. We're just gonna do it that way, and we're gonna put training camp games on. Training camp games. Oh, wait, none. Oh, I'm glad I spotted that. I had training camp games of none. All right. Well, that's a little weird. Okay. I think everything else, position development. I put position development on high as well. That reminds me, because we talk about position development in a few other leagues, and how position development is pretty glacial in this game. Once it goes fast, the position skill, that's basically how well does a player play that particular position. It goes up very fast up until they get to about a 30 or 35, which is kind of barely acceptable for most positions. Some positions, it's actually pretty good. And then after that, it's absolutely glacial. And you can't really control it. There's nothing you could do in the training settings to control position development. So that's, well, I mean, it's not random, but it does depend on your coaching staff. So where are we going to come in here? We're going to come in, we got 60 players. If we just go to our roster, we have 60 players. Not too bad. I mean, we have some standout players. We got a pretty good free safety in Messenger. I think I may have mentioned this. We're going to start, and as soon as we go into episode 1, key dates is what I wanted. Staff signing, we're going to blow through this pretty quickly. Hopefully we won't need to sign any staff members. We're fully staffed right now, but that could change. Spring games, that's not really much of a thing. Recruiting, we have 60 players, and we have 12 committed recruits, which means we have 13 unfilled scholarships. And I think that's pretty much it. I showed you the conferences already. It's going to be a challenge, but like I said, I think it was a little bit too easy last time, and we got some good teams. The Pac-12 had prestige of... Oh, yeah, Pac-12 had a prestige of 56. Wait a minute. This was a Pac-12, 56? And the Mountain West was 75? Oh, you know what? I wonder if I had that reverse. I think maybe this was the Pac-12, and the Pac-12... No, sorry. The Northwest Conference is what used to be the Pac-12, and the Southwest is what used to be the Mountain West. I think that's how we did it. This prestige might be a little high then. Maybe we want to lower that a little bit. No, we'll leave it here. I mean, only with conference prestige, that's the only way we're going to build a team up, because we are probably near the bottom of the rest of our conference. And so, the only hope of getting decent players to build this roster up, I think I may have shown you the difference in just some of the things we're doing here to make this a little more challenging. We have, I don't want to show power rankings because I can't sort that by team and I don't know where we are. Colorado State, we have prestige of 60, ranked 79th, 60 players. I went in that 74.8. I do believe that's lower. Average overall, the overall rating of a player is a little overrated for an individual player. I think in aggregate, in groups of players, if you're talking about the average overall of an entire roster, yeah, you can pretty much compare. You have 74.8, and you have, for us, and you have Utah at 83.7. That is enormous. That's an average player has 10 higher overall. Now, yes, overall is overrated, but average difference of 10 per player, that is something. That is definitely something. That's going to make this challenging. I'm not even how long is this series going to go? I don't think there's any hope that we're going to make to win a national championship. The problem I have with a lot of back when I played the NCAA series, the EA, I felt it was so easy to turn a team around. Like you could take a team, and I think it was designed to like give an advantage to the user team. And I want to make this challenging. So we're putting this on hard mode. We're picking a bad team with not a terrible roster, but I mean, we're about 74. Oops. And the lowest is 72.8. So we're right here. And we're kind of like just eyeballing this, maybe the 20 to 25th worst roster in the country. So we got work to do. And I look forward to doing it and look forward to bringing you along for this ride. So in episode 1, we're going to get to work. Trying to find the last 13 players to fill our roster this year. It won't be until the next offseason that we really next year until we have basically a team that is ours. And so I'll see you then. One more thing I want to add really quickly to the intro video for this series is I'm watching a game in one of the competitive leagues I'm in, just as a little B-roll. Washington State, that's me. I want to set an expectation regarding pace. A big thing with the college game is recruiting. Oh, that's not good. We're going down 14-3. Anyway, a big thing is recruiting. And so what I'm going to try and recruiting can become tedious. And at this point, I'm recording this. I've already filmed the first 3 episodes. The first 3 episodes are all recruiting. And it's a big part of the game. And I think that's why some people who play the pro version of this game don't really like the college version, because they find that they don't like the recruiting. They like the strategies and the playbooks and the trading and the drafting and all that. Personally, that's why I like the college version better. But anyway, so we're going to spend a lot of time early on in recruiting. And the reason it's a lot of time early on is because you're setting up your recruiting board. You're looking at thousands, there's thousands of potential recruits that we're going to be filtering and adding to, finding guys and adding them to our board and figure out who we want to go after, who we can get, how many, what talking points we're going to use. That's a big setup that goes early on. And so it's going to take up a lot of time very early on in the series. And I'm going to try to gauge as the series goes on how much time I want to continue to spend with that. Whether, we continue showing the details of the recruiting, or as we go on, I kind of do some more recruiting stuff in the background and just focus more on the football, the strategy, the playbook, the depth chart, all that. It's something that I'm going to have to figure out as I go along. So maybe I'll show a lot of recruiting stuff early on, and as we go through the season, we start narrowing down our recruiting board. We know we have a pretty good idea who we're going to get, who we're not going to get, who we want, who we don't want. And so as the season goes on, the recruiting process per week becomes shorter. So there's going to be a lot of time investment in this early on. So I just wanted to set that expectation. When you're first starting a season, there's 2 recruiting stages. There's a recruiting stage at the beginning where you're assigning transfers and transfer portal, and there's an in-season recruiting as you go through the year. Both of those just have big setups. It's just a lot of setup. It gets a lot less tedious as we go on. So if you do think something's going too slow or too fast or whatever, please mention it in the comments. Contact me on Discord, that type of thing. All right, that concludes our intro episode, and get ready for episode 1 where we start our recruiting process. Bye for now, and I'll see you then.